I said that Francisco Calvo plays at left back. He does, but he's actually gone in at right back to replace Gamboa on that far side. But he certainly won't be able to venture too far forward as much as Gamboa has. Here is Firmino coming forward now. Firmino tries to thread it through to Neymar. Firmino lays it off towards Douglas Costa, midway through the Costa Rica half. He finds Neymar inside the penalty area, tries to place it off his right foot, strikes the legs of Johnny Acosta and diverts behind for a corner.
Yeah, but what fabulous first touch from Neymar. He kills it stone dead there. And he tries to fire through the player's legs, didn't quite get there. If it goes through the legs, you know, 99% of the time, it ends up in the goal.
We're inside the last quarter of an hour. Neymar with a corner kick, easily dealt with. Headed away by Gonzalez at the heart of that Costa Rica defence. Back with Coutinho. Oh, off the ball. Was that a little push by Guzman? No. Neymar falls to the floor. Referee, book him. If you fall into the floor, book him. It's the only way to stop these antics. Long ball up towards Palianos, gathered in by the goalkeeper, Alisson.
And the Costa Rican fans are furious. They thought he was out, Alisson was out his goal there when he caught that ball. I think it was absolutely spot on. But you're absolutely right about Neymar. It drives you nuts. The referee said they were going to be harsher on the diving. They have not been harsher on the diving. In fact, they've been incredibly lenient.
Trying to deceive the officials, and it's becoming incessant now.
Well, it's becoming accepted. That's the thing. It's becoming the accepted norm. The referee can stop
the people getting in behind.
Marcelo won't get past the Costa. Actually, didn't do too bad. It required a sliding challenge. Brazil with Coutinho, gathered in by Keylor Navas. The cross from Coutinho is the outside of the right foot, so it was drifting rather than delivered with pace.
Yeah, he did it exactly with pace. By the way, any referees that are furious out there, if I'm blaming them, trust me, I blame the player more.
Well, actually, the ball just struck Neymar in the face. I'm surprised he didn't fall to the floor then. He rocked back on his heels.
So what now?
Probably the hardest he's been hit today, and he still stands up.
Played out to the wing.
Oscar Ramirez, 53 years of age, in his suit. Bushy moustache.
No joy.
Not pacing as much as Sampaoli of Argentina, but he is moving around.
So hard to just get into position and get on
in that technical area, because he knows this would be an important point for Costa Rica against Brazil. 1978, the last time that Brazil drew their opening two games in a World Cup. Douglas Costa, Gabriel Jesus, Jesus flicks it, Neymar still going, pulled back, was he? Penalty!
Of a closer nature.
There was contact.
Neymar.
He falls to the floor, does Neymar, his arms are open wide.
Looking for a decent
ball. And now Brazil have an opportunity.
Has a hit!
To try and find a way through past Costa Rica.
Coutinho,
who protests,
is so good,
but there was a tug. To the naked eye, there was a tug.
Do you know what? He had lost his balance. It all happened amazingly in slow motion, because he got it. I think his first touch wasn't good in this time, but he managed to keep himself in balance, turned away, but he'd lost his balance. He was falling backwards already, and it needed the slightest of touches, and it was no more than the most minute. We've seen a second position here.
Put in there.
No, I don't want to give it. I wish he would go to... The referee is going to look at the VAR. I am delighted with that. This is when you want VAR to work.
To make a
and I would not be surprised if he changes his mind.
Well, I've got to say, to the naked eye, the referee, by the way, now has actually gone to the side of the pitch. So this is him looking at it at the mouth of the tunnel. To the naked eye, I thought it was a penalty. I've seen it again, and I don't think it was a penalty. But this penalty is now under review.
It's just about to give it no penalty.
No penalty. Now show him the yellow card.
Gets up to
show him the yellow card, referee.
And a second time. What
a finally VAR has worked fabulously well. Neymar had a dive just a few moments ago. This time, his stomach has basically... There's no tug. So what he's done is he's thrown his body backwards. Do you know what? He conned the referee, he conned you, he conned me, he conned just about everybody else in this stadium.
Brazil.
As the penalty after the VAR review has been wiped out, it means that Brazil with 10 minutes
Brazil
remaining, are still looking for that way through. 0-0 here as Neymar comes in off the left touchline. Neymar, challenged by Venegas, keeps his balance eventually. Casemiro, Costa Rica still working so hard. Here is Casemiro, forward of the centre circle, manages to wriggle away from Brian Ruiz. Firmino goes back, Thiago Silva switches play, Neymar's in field, creates the space for Marcelo, left corner of the penalty area, Marcelo, Neymar, 25 yards out from goal. Showed too much to Guzman, who's gone down with cramp, I think. No, he's slowly getting back to his feet, is Guzman. Marcelo, arms tucked in, blocked by Costa, and Costa now falls to the floor.
Yeah, try to kill too much time now. I mean, to be honest, he's nowhere near that injured. And Neymar's now been booked.
Neymar's now been shown a yellow card for dissent. Coutinho has been shown a yellow card for dissent towards the Dutch referee. And actually, I've got sympathy for him because his arms were tucked in. It only struck his arms. You can't be winded if it strikes your arms.
Do you know, it's one of those ones, the sadness that players now abuse the situation. He's gone down there. You would like him to be told to go off the field just now. He's not. They've carried on, and it's 11 against 11 again.
He threw the ball down in disgust as the cross worked over by Marcelo, punched away by Keylor Navas. Douglas Costa, right-hand side, 9 minutes remain. Douglas Costa with the cross. Stopped by Calvo, volleyed away by Guzman. Battling for that ball was Venegas, loses out to Thiago Silva. Brazil under pressure here, being held by Costa Rica. What a story that would be.
Do you know what? You sometimes say the referee needs eyes in his back of his head in some games. Well, he does in this one. Fortunately, he has with the VAR.
Oh, that was a needless foul. Referees played the advantage. That was from Guzman, just took out Douglas Costa. Coutinho, edge of the area. Marcelo, left-hand side. Marcelo with a cross, stabbed behind. Kept in play. Balleros has actually sliced it, and it's caught by the goalkeeper, Keylor Navas. That wasn't a back pass.
Yeah, Neymar shouting and ball and saying it was a back pass. I'll tell you what, Neymar, even you couldn't pass the ball backwards with not at that belly. But all the way through to me, you see the Costa Rican players, whether they are or not injured, is very difficult to tell. They are going to ground, they're staying down just now. There's a complaint over there that there's an injury, but, you know, make your mind up. Are you going to stay on the pitch or are you not? They're killing every second. They've just got over 8 minutes or so.
Guzman, who was on a yellow card, he's been struggling with cramp, so this will be like for like. He's taking all the time in the world to come off, is David Guzman. But the referee will add it on.
Well, hopefully, the big hope is he'll do that. Do you know, you just look at this moment, the tension that's around this place, the excitement that you have at the end of this game just now, and how sad it would have been had this game been decided by a dive by Neymar, of all people, because he's been doing it all the way through this game and all the way through the tournament. That would have been awful. And it almost happened. It just about happened there.
But like you said, we were conned. We thought it was a penalty from our high vantage point here, but VAR worked a treat. Never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, well, I have. I've always been a fan. I know there are weaknesses, but that's why we have it. That's the moment we have it for.
It's still 0-0. Argentina sweating in Group D. Brazil, likewise, will be sitting rather uncomfortably if it finishes like this. You think of Brazil as a yellow card is being shown now to Johnny Acosta for time wasting, but you think of Brazil in the group stages. They've lost 3 of 64 games in the World Cup when they've scored first, but they haven't been able to get the goal. And as a result, they really are struggling here to try and find a way through. Douglas Costa, Brazil, with Neymar forward now. Firmino hasn't been able to get into the game. Neymar plays it across towards that far side. This is Fagner towards Firmino, comes back to the right back. Neymar lurks, early ball in from Neymar, penalty area, Firmino on the stretch, cleared away by Gonzalez, headed back by Thiago Silva. Here was me hoping for an easy game to rest the voice. It's not happening. Marcelo, Douglas Costa swapped, he's out on the left-hand side, cross takes the deflection, spins up in the air.
Do you know what?
Brazilian
the
media
problem
are
is,
going to have a field day, Pat.
Yeah, the problem is they're not playing
Coutinho shoots from distance. Keylor Navas with a save.
We'll just stop there as Coutinho. When Coutinho gets on the ball and he's 30 yards out, you need to stop. But the pace that Brazil are playing out now, that's absolutely fine. They've done it for 20 minutes or so. Problem is they didn't do it for the first 45. And they're paying the price for that now. It's desperation now. Whereas you should have tried to win the game early on. And it's as if they expected it to happen. They were too relaxed about it. And they could pay the penalty.
Brazil have been faltering in this game as Douglas Costa gives the ball away again. That proud record of reaching the last 8 for the last 6 World Cups is going to come under real pressure. Marcelo, fancy little turn. Ball played through, Casemiro to Jesus. Neymar is there, Jesus gets the shot away. Keylor Navas with a smothering save.
Yeah, they're trying to work neat little 1-2s in there, but there's so little space. They're trying to go through the centre of that defence. And to be fair, that Costa Rican defence has held up incredibly well in this second half. They've been really tight. They've went to 4-man, 5-man sometimes defence, really tight inside the kind of the width of the goalpost some of the time. So there's no space there at all.
This is going to be Brazil's worst run. In fact, it'll be a match their worst ever run in a World Cup when they went 4 games without a victory between 74 and 78.
But that was an awful Brazil team then, it has to be said. This is a far more talented group of players that are out there.
Coutinho out to Douglas Costa. Under 4 minutes of normal time remain. Right corner of the penalty area. Step overs into the penalty area. Casemiro straight at Keylor Navas. Well positioned by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the goalkeeper's what he's had to do. He's done very, very well today. Gets behind it. Having said that, it's one of those ones, if he let that one in, you would be absolutely furious. Not dissimilar to the one De Gea let in earlier in the tournament. However, no such mistake from Navas.
And this would also be the first goalless draw in Russia 2018. 5 live. Nigeria, Iceland to come from 4. Followed by Serbia, Switzerland from 7. Both on BBC TV. Oh, no, 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 no. Marcelo has put his hand up and Johnny Acosta has gone down, writhing, holding his face. That was pathetic. That was Rivaldo-esque.
Yeah. Do you know, it's so infuriating. I mean, players will throw themselves down and try and waste a bit of time. It infuriates you, but you can understand what they're trying to do. But when they blatantly cheat sometimes. Now, you've seen that much, much clearer than me. You've got 2 Costa Rica players lying down there as if they're both knocked out, stone cold. Do you reckon both of them are going to get taken off?
Duarte did get a blow to the back of the neck from Neymar as they went for the ball.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
he pushed his forehead, but if he's gone down the way like that...
It's as if he's got concussion.
Oh,
honestly,
that is pathetic.
I would really love him to get a yellow card for that. It would be fabulous if a referee yellow card him for that. I mean, why that is in any way acceptable? I was going to say in football, in any sport, in any walk of life, just cheating and sliming.
Well,
have we said enough yet?
I think so. Duarte's being held to his feet. I mean, look at that. Acosta's having a word with Marcelo.
To be honest, Neymar's gone over there and saying you're a disgrace. I mean, seriously. Come on, there are some people that are allowed to go and say that, and some people that aren't.
This is Neymar, who almost got away with calling the referee as he was took. Well, we thought he was took back to win the penalty that was thankfully ruled out through VAR. The words black kettle and pot spring to mind. Neymar chips the ball in. Navas punches the ball away. 90 seconds remain. The officials...
No, get up, keeper, get up.
Oh, it's Navas this time rolling around. The crowd inside St. Petersburg Stadium here are livid because the time wasting and the antics are just constant.
Do you know, and the thing is, it takes one referee, just one referee, to come down hard in one of the games. There was an earlier game where Cristiano Ronaldo dived, didn't get a yellow card, and everyone's looked at it and thought, right, we can do this now. There was a game last night, the people rolling up, the players rolling about. It was an absolute disgrace. He actually might have a bit of a sore jaw there, but there's nothing wrong with him. He's standing up, it's fine, he's going to get on with it. And it's just tiresome now that anytime anyone gets the tiniest little knock, they throw themselves down. If you think you can get away with cheating, you kind of almost will as a player, and it's too easy now for them.
It is tiresome. Now, eventually, when the ball is back in play and we can restart, my watch says we've got 30 seconds remaining 30 seconds of Brazil 0, Costa Rica 0, and then we'll wait to see how much added on time.
It better be at least 6.
We're looking at, I think we're looking at least 5. Well, let's have a look, see what the, I can see that. Can you see the board down there, Pat?
Just see the corner of it. Can't quite see the number yet.
Brazil are on the attack, still 0-0. Casemiro into the penalty area, and it'll be cleared away by Tejeda. Venegas will give chase. Miranda, 6 minutes. Oh. Venegas almost got away from Miranda. There was a foul, free kick to Brazil. So 6 minutes have added on time, and it's still 0-0. Brazil drew their opening game. It would leave them on 2 points. Serbia plays Switzerland at 7. Who would have thought that both Argentina and Brazil would be in such positions? Marcelo with a cross. Firmino, a downward header. Arriving! Coutinho saves the blushes for Brazil. Coutinho running in, breaks the hearts of Costa Rica. It is a last-gasp goal for Brazil. And the deadlock broken in injury time. They have got out of jail big time.
Well, they certainly get out of jail. They've had most of the play, they've had most of the game. Certainly the second half, Costa Rica have looked good, or slightly threatening on the break. But they were getting more and more tired. There was eventually going to be some chances near the end of this game. Those 6 minutes, when that ball was put up, that must have looked like an absolute eternity to those Costa Rican defenders. And you know what? After all the intricate play, it's a big ball to the back post there, nodded down, they follow through. And I'm trying to see, was it Firmino who nodded the ball down? Bringing him on there near the end, and I think there was a touch, probably by Gabriel Jesus as it goes through. But I think that's as much got to do with the brilliance of Firmino getting to that back post. Nods it down to his ex-Liverpool teammate Coutinho. Sighs of relief after the roar from these Brazilian fans.
Firmino with the header. Tite, the coach, took a tumble as he celebrated down below. The Brazilian fans all in yellow. Some of them are taking off their shirts and swinging them around their heads here in St. Petersburg. Jesus couldn't bring the ball under control, but his touch just lent itself for Coutinho running in to guide it in the first minute of the added-on 6. Jesus is coming off, and the player who's coming on is going to be Fernandinho, just to shore up the midfield.
And a very sensible decision to make that change now. You quite clearly just put Firmino up front, he'll hold up the ball, and that was maybe one of the complaints we were making in the first half. There was no core to the play going forward. You know, it was going to Jesus, it wasn't being held up. And again, simple things, ball played up long, Firmino's decent in the air, nods it down. And has to be said, the touch from Jesus, it's not a fluke, it was a cracker. However, game not finished now, should have been a free kick in the edge of the box there for Costa Rica. They're not getting it, Brazil are on the break.
Brazil will go top of Group E. They will have got the 3 points to take them a point clear of Serbia. But it has been a hard-fought victory. And they're now going to just hold on to the ball and play out time. The tension has been eased, punctured by that goal from Coutinho. 2-2 in this World Cup for Coutinho. Firmino into the penalty area. Here is Neymar, stopped in his tracks by Gonzalez. Fernandinho, the boys in blue, the boys from Brazil, will just hold on to the ball now. 2.5 minutes remain, and the Olays are coming out, but this hasn't been a performance to Olay. It's been a performance to test the patience of a saint. Here is Marcelo, Neymar. Firmino makes the run round the back. That was clever. Firmino in the penalty area, looks for Coutinho. Back to Firmino. Oh, that was more like Brazil, but put wide. Goal kick, 1-0.
Wow. Absolutely gorgeous play, wasn't it? Absolutely beautiful play. I mean, to be honest, Brazil would play that all the time if they score an early goal, and they can enjoy it, and they've played that way, but they've not been able to do so. There's not been a lot of space for them to play that way, and they've actually not been an enjoyable side to watch for large parts of the game today, but that was beautiful.
Just goes to show, though, doesn't it? Everything is all about the results at this stage. If they reach the quarterfinals, as they have for the last 6 World Cups, nobody will be caring what happened and how they've struggled to break down this Costa Rica side as they continue to keep possession. And we have about 70-odd seconds remaining by my watch here in St. Petersburg, because all of a sudden now the mood has been lifted through that Coutinho goal for those, whether they're from Sao Paulo, Belo Horizonte, Rio de Janeiro, Recife, Salvador, Costa da Sauipe. It will not care where you have travelled to watch your side here in Russia. Brazil are up and running in 2018. 1-0. They've struggled at times, they have toiled. Douglas Costa now, they're pulling out all the tricks. 1, 2, 3 little step-overs. Casemiro.
To be fair, Costa Rica haven't touched the ball in these 6 minutes hardly. Maybe one little break, no more than that. Complete control from Brazil.
Marcelo around the back, on the overlap, drills it in low and hard and turned behind by Oviedo for a corner kick.
Yeah, it's a different, to be honest, there's been 2 different matches here, hasn't there? The 6 minutes of injury time and the other 90 minutes beforehand. The 6 minutes of injury time from Brazil have been fantastic. Utter domination of the play, nice little flicks and tricks, good movement from all the players, no throwing themselves to the ground, none of that stuff at all. And of course, not a bad goal as well on top of that.
Costa Rica are going out. Surprise package 4 years ago when they topped the group with Uruguay, Italy and England. There will be no repeat. That was brilliant by Neymar, lifting it over the head. Douglas Costa, now Fernandinho will win it back on that far side. Here is Douglas Costa. We've seen both sides. As here is Firmino. Sides to frustrate, and then sides the odd glimpse of a little bit of flair as well from these Brazilian players.
I think we may see a replay of that little flick there by Neymar. It's a kind of a version of the donkey kick, flicked over the back of the defender's head. Now, a lot of players can do that, but you generally don't do that in the World Cup finals, do you? Unless you're Neymar.
Ball in between both legs, flicked it up over his head and took it away from Tejeda. That was delightful, as it was in the first half when he beat Gamboa with a little lift over a looping ball over the head. Few and far between, in between his other antics of going to ground far too easily. Charged down by Firmino, loose ball picked up. Charging now is Casemiro. Casemiro at the heart of the Costa Rica defence, plays it in. Douglas Costa, Neymar, 2-0. Neymar from close range, couldn't miss. 2 goals in injury time have given this a flattering look to the scoreline as Brazil have beaten Costa Rica by 2-0. Neymar with a second.
When Brazil broke there on the halfway line, just got the ball on halfway line, got halfway inside the half, it was an absolute stick on that Neymar was going to score there, even though it took 3 passes to get there, because every single pass would be played right by intelligent players. They were drawn, defenders were drawn, the ball was flicked in there to the wide area there, and you knew that he would be able to find Neymar in the middle. There was never any doubt. About 10 seconds before that, maybe 5 seconds before that goal, it was going to be a goal, it was going to be Neymar. These guys know how to play these situations.
We've actually been playing for nearer 8 minutes now here in St. Petersburg. They broke the deadlock in the 91st minute. They've just added the second through Neymar. Neymar, who you might remember was so instrumental for them in the last World Cup. 4 goals in 5 appearances before he broke a bone in his back in the quarter-final against Colombia. And as the game restarts, Costa Rica just had to throw everybody forward. They were caught out. They were caught cold for the second goal. Costa Rica are going home. Brazil have gone to the top of Group E, but 2 goals in injury time tell the story of how they have struggled here against Costa Rica. But they're up and running, and that's all that matters, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, that's all they'll think about just now. You know, they didn't play terribly, but they weren't creating enough chances, particularly in that first half. They had to up the pace. They certainly upped the pace a little bit in the second half, as we watch on our monitors here. Neymar in tears, actually, kneeling down in tears. It's hard to explain and understand why he's doing that, but anyway, he seems to be very upset, overcome with the fact that they've actually got out. Maybe it was on his mind that they were on the verge of going out. I'll tell you what, had they gone out, he was the one that we'd been pointing the finger at. So many stories involved in this game. A vast majority involved Neymar.
Neymar overcome with emotion, and Kelly Cates back in our studio in Moscow. He is being comforted by about 4 of his teammates down there. Costa Rica are the one who needs consolation because they are going out. They're going home in the group stages. But Brazil, hard work, beating Costa Rica 2-0.
Ian, Pat, thank you very much. Let's bring in Tim Vickery, our South American football correspondent. Tim, can you shed any light on why there's this outpouring of emotion from Neymar?
Yeah, it starts with P and it ends with Resha. Pressure, 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 and he's failed for a large part of the game. And my God, does he feel it? But you look at him, and you remember that on his back he has Neymar Jr. And you look at him with some of the things that he gets up to, and his emotional reaction now, and you think, is this man mature enough to carry a side all the way through to the World Cup? He's already on a yellow. Now, in 14 World Cup qualifiers, he picked up 6 yellow cards. You project that into the tournament, and that means missing a vital knockout game. Brazil are going to be fascinating all the way, because so much of it revolves around Neymar, and he is so complex and contradictory, fascinating, loved, hated. And after these 96 minutes, not if we were talking about 90 minutes, we'd have had the first 0-0 in the tournament. After these 96 minutes, he's probably even more loved and even more hated than he was at the start.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because while Coutinho and Neymar got the goals, 91 and 97 minutes respectively for those goals, big talking point is going to be that penalty that the referee awarded, then consulted VAR, and then rescinded that decision to award the penalty for what originally looked like a tug by Gonzalez on Neymar. In the end, it looked very much as though Neymar had dived. How is that viewed in Brazil? Is that just playing the game to the best of your and taking advantage of a situation, or is it frowned upon in the way that it exercises people in the UK?
It's much less. It is tolerated to too great an extent, and the referee only has to come out with a yellow card, and he has to. If he's going to go back on the decision, it has to be a yellow card. And the idiocy of the situation is, he had a shooting chance. He chose the acrobatic fall rather than a genuine shooting chance, and that's not good for the game. And the referee, I think, was a little bit lenient with him.
Tim, it's Ian in the stadium here. You know, you said before you questioned his maturity, whether he can cope. How much do you think is also from the last World Cup 4 years ago, when obviously he'd been such a key figure for him, and then he was unable to deliver because obviously the injury in the quarter-final against Colombia, that he still personally wants to deliver in the crucial stages of a World Cup, i.e. the latter stages?
Sure, and it's the biggest thing you can do as a Brazilian. I'm not sure that people fully realise the importance of the World Cup, not just to Brazil, but to South America in general. And look at the number of Peruvian supporters who travelled across. When Brazil take the field in the World Cup, it is the nation parading itself to the entire world as winners. Now that's a real tradition to live up to, and Neymar, you saw the emotional reaction at the end of the game. He's almost buckling from the burden of having to live up to that tradition.
Tim Vickery, Ian Dennis, Pat Nevin, thank you very much. Just to run you through how Group E looks then. Brazil top with 4 points from their opening 2 games. Later on, Serbia plays Switzerland. That's the 7 o'clock kickoff. Serbia on 3 points, Switzerland on 1. And Costa Rica are out of the World Cup. They will, of course, complete their final match on the last day of the Group E matches, which is Wednesday, the 27th of June, when Costa Rica will play Switzerland, but they will not go through to the knockout stages. Serbia and Switzerland to come from 7 o'clock here on 5 Live Sport. And at 4 o'clock, there's commentary of Nigeria against Iceland, a crucial match as far as Argentina are concerned. It is in their group, with Croatia at top of the group with a maximum of 6 points so far. If Iceland win, they only need a draw against Croatia in the final day of Group D matches. It is not in Argentina's hands. At half-time in that match, we'll hear from England's Fabian Delph on, amongst other things, how the players are keeping themselves occupied.
We're in and out each other's rooms. I don't think anybody locks the rooms. Apparently someone put loads of chairs and tables on Raheem's bed, so once that happened, I think a few have been shutting the doors. I don't know who did it. So anyway, we'll have to keep that one going. We've got to find whoever did that.
I think you should put yourself in charge of that investigation into who did that to Raheem Sterling, Fabian.
Yeah, probably. I think I could probably get to the bottom of it.